Today we have an amazing senior leader joining us. James Blair, the CIO of Todd Energy, has come along to share his story and tell us his journey. I hope you enjoy. Do you like bacon?
Oh my God. I'm not going to say swamp water, but it wouldn't be something I'd order for me.
James, thank you so much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure. Are you looking forward to tasting the beer?
I am. This is a very interesting concept, and I suppose it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I suppose that's a bit of a segue to the first beer.
It is a segue.
Is a panhead. Cheers.
It's a fruity style of... Yeah, what do you think?
Not a bad beer, actually. I was a bit worried with the name, but yeah, it turned out all right.
Originally from South Africa, why don't you tell us about little James starting off as a boy and what brought you to New Zealand?
Well, I suppose if we look a couple of years beyond being a little boy, I was a South African with a British passport on an Australian long-term residency visa living in New Zealand. So there's obviously a fair bit of a story there.
Yep.
So obviously spent my childhood and sort of early adulthood in South Africa, went overseas on an OE and never went back to South Africa.
Wow.
So I met an Australian girl in Scotland. We tried to live in South Africa twice, didn't work out so well. And then we moved to Australia where I spent 17 years. And then I bucked the trend a little bit and came over to New Zealand. Haven't always been digital.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to run hotels. And that's important, I think, that early career path, because sort of it allowed me to know who the customer was. And obviously that's, and also the ability to talk to customers. I think sort of far too many digital people sort of haven't got the ability to talk to customers, and customers being anyone in the business.
Yep.
So then sort of roll on, hotel work was great. It's good for the social life, but when you start having kids, it's not so good. You're working from 11 in the morning through to 3 the following morning, 6 days a week.
Ouch.
Doesn't really help sort of your home life balance. So I really fell into IT actually. So I sort of did a bit of a stint with the police in Australia in the red light and speed camera office. And wow. I found I had a really good technical sort of acumen. And sort of I started building out some web capabilities for them where they used to use paper manumatic processes. And then a friend of mine said, "Oh, do you want a job doing application support for a large company called Origin?" So I said, "Yeah, that's great." Now I suppose that starting at the ground floor was really good as well. So that really helped I suppose understand sort of from the ground up. And sort of the rest history really. So obviously career progression through from the bottom upwards to senior management in digital.
So now we're moving on to the Parrot Dog Fresh Hop Hazy IPA. Keep it cool, drink it fresh. Should we give it a try?
We give it a go.
That just tastes like a standard Parrot Dog.
Very different to the first one.
Well, it's different to the lager. Yeah, we've gone to an IPA.
I'm a simple man. I like lagers and those things. So,
what would you say your top business achievements have been?
Can't fall away from good old Todd.
Todd?
I suppose this has been, I won't say the jewel on my crown because I think the best for me is still yet to come, but certainly the digital transformation piece here has been phenomenal. You know, basically everything we said we we're going to deliver, we have.
Yep.
And you hear a lot about digital transformation projects falling flat, going over budget over time. We've never gone over budget of time on a 5-year program.
Wow.
And the business has become more digital.
Number 3, hops on point, beer and ballet. See, that's quite refreshing, that is.
That's almost a blend of both the other ones.
It is. I could drink that all day long. I mean, I shouldn't, but I could drink that all day long.
Well, you finish that one, and maybe we can.
Why don't we go on to the next question? So, who has been your worst boss? Not your best boss. I don't want to hear about the glowing references. Who was the worst boss and why?
I'd have to say my boss in Australia stood out. I won't mention any names.
Okay.
And it was in digital in IT. And he was my worst boss because just the arrogance and the knowingness, sort of never really got feedback from any of the customers or stakeholders. He always knew the answer. Basically, it was a time when it was about control and it was about delivering digital solutions to the business, not for the business. So, you know, those traditional things where, you know, you have an Oracle project or a SAP project, basically say, oh, hi, we're IT, here's the solution, go for your life, this is going to be your next thing for the next couple of years. And there was no real consultation with the business. He was like that.
This has got to be my favorite can. The first rule of Hop Club. Now we're getting a bit deeper and darker. I can't see through this. It's an IPA, hazy double, and this one's 8%.
Wow.
Okay. So we can just down it and keep going.
We could do, but we're probably not going to get through the rest, to be honest with you.
Still got quite a lot to get through. Okay.
Well, cheers on this one.
Cheers on this one. Oh, that is heavy.
That's very different to all of them.
It's really different.
Oh my God.
It's got a bit of sour.
I'm not going to say swamp water, but it wouldn't be something I'd order off a menu.
Let's talk about inspirations. Okay,
Yes.
so gone to the worst boss.
Yep.
Like, I won't say a boss, but who's been the best inspiration for you? And I guess, sure, we're talking digital fusion, but it doesn't have to be digital. In your career, who's that standout that you're like, wow, that's just driven me?
When you preempted some of these questions, this was one of the hardest questions for me to answer. I'm not really a hero type sort of, you know, person. I don't really follow heroes, but I had to think about it. I really like Richard Branson. You know, he's come up from nowhere effectively, made his way, you know, sort of a buccaneer entrepreneur type thing. So he's basically, and he did it his way.
Yep.
You know, very cliche, but he did it his way. He basically, you know, and he is where he is. He's got this sort of flair about doing it as well.
Yes.
And I like that. You know, basically he knows he's good at what he does, and yeah, he basically, you know, but. Bit of arrogance, I think that's important as well, but not over the top arrogance, and you know, not all knowing, all. Oh, sorry, my apologies.
It comes back round on you. I felt that too.
Wow. Yeah, there must be that 8%. But yeah, I you know, definitely the Richard Branson.
So do you like bacon?
I love bacon.
We've got an Epic Loves Bacon smoked IPA.
Okay.
This, what a combo, bacon and beer. That's what we were thinking when we first made our friends from Freedom Farms. Okay, it's really dark.
It's a lot darker than the other ones.
Oh, the smell. It's bizarre.
I'm not sure how to take this. I'm not sure how to take this, to be honest.
I don't feel it's going to be refreshing. You can taste that smoked. There is a lot of smoked.
I'm going to say interesting.
Would you go to a bar and say, "Could I have a Loves Bacon?"
Maybe for breakfast. And you know, I don't like drinking before 11 o'clock, so yeah, I don't know.
Recently, little old New Plymouth.
Yep.
Todd.
Yeah.
Won the Future Enterprise Awards. What was that all about?
It's quite interesting, actually. So we actually put in for the New Zealand Awards for IDC, for the CIO Awards here in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And when we put the submission in, sort of they fed back that we should put into the APAC Awards. We won the category, Best in Future Digital Infrastructure, and we were finalists in 3 other categories. So,
wow.
And it's quite interesting. So IDC, it was their biggest year as well for entrants, obviously post-COVID, you know, and during COVID.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm not saying organisations had more time, but there was a lot more sort of submissions. So we were really chuffed with that. Basically not small organisation, mid-sized organisation in not just in New Zealand, in remote regional, Taranaki. We're able to, take out some really big players, so this things, like New Zealand Earthquake Commission was one of the others, but certainly City of Sydney, BPay, really, really large, significantly large organisations we took out. And I suppose that's the good thing about digital, right? It doesn't matter where you are. You can prosper, and you can show that, in innovation, you can show, that you can actually take on the best.
Battle Axe. Now this one is an Imperial Scotch Ale from Shining Peak. Shout out to the local. I don't know what a Scotch Ale is, but I do know that it's 9%, so we're going up. Like, we're on the back half now, so nothing's going to get pretty out of this. I fear the enjoyability of the drinks may have gone. It's dark. Should we see what it tastes?
The name is pretty ominous, but we'll see how it goes. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Oh.
Do you know what that tastes like? And I should, you talk about the Scotch influence. That tastes like a Lagavulin or a Laphroaig or a Talisker, a very peaty.
Yes.
A very peaty sort of beer.
I don't know if it's the bacon beer coming back, but there's like a smoky thing in there as well.
No, it is. It's that peaty sort of taste.
Would you order one?
Probably one.
We'll leave it at one. No more. I don't think. Yeah. All right. So you've done your masters in IT.
Yep.
So one thing I'm always curious about: the theory versus the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Does it match up?
I'd say getting my masters was a turning point in my career.
Okay.
So I had an Xbox. I had every qualification known to man. I was an MCSE plus S. I had ITIL. I had Prince 2. I had all these qualifications, but they had a date where they expired.
Yeah.
And I had a boss that came to me and said, like, man, you know your stuff, which is good endorsement in the business. But he said, in order for you to get to go further, you're going to have to get you're going to have to get a degree, a master's degree. And I was a bit sort of I took a step back. Do I really need this sort of thing? Do I just go down the technical path, or do I do this master's degree?
Yeah.
So he said he'd pay for it as well, which is really good.
Oh, cool.
So, I did my master's. I was a bit cocky and arrogant the first time, and this is a lesson for everyone. I failed my first subject because being cocky and arrogant, I thought I knew everything. And then I really knuckled down and actually got my master's. I'm not saying I got the highest GPA known to man. Some of the time I slid under the gate thing, but
as you do,
I ended up getting it. Working a significant number of hours, having 3 kids, and basically sitting back to back with my wife because she wasn't really happy. Well, she was really happy, but we didn't spend a lot of time together, so we sat back to back. She did her degree and I did my master's. But yeah, definitely the turning point in my career, because I suppose when it comes back to that theoretical aspect, it allows me to look at things holistically. I think it opens you up to big picture thinking. Whereas you focus on very much on the technology solution, the technology product, or whatever it may be, it allows you to think more broadly.
Okay.
And being like I am, I picked every subject that I wasn't familiar with, which is awesome, from ethics through to HR, through to through to finance, accounting, those sort of things. So yeah, it was good. It was a learning journey, and I think I'm a strong proponent of continuous learning.
I hope you're ready. This is one that I picked, and I've been rather excited. This is Liberty. This is a raspberry roller milkshake sour. So you're going to need to pucker up, Milk Bar Cowboys. This is American Graffiti.
I'm a bit dubious about this one. We've gone from really dark beers through to a rosé, if I can put that nicely.
It's a rosy beer, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
It's only a 6%, so it's not. Cheers.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Milkshake.
You can taste the sour. The raspberries there.
Okay, one of my favorite topics.
Right.
IT,
OT.
OT,
Yeah.
ET. All right, so
ET.
engineering technology.
Okay.
So that's the robotics. That's the robot picking off the apple on the tree.
Right.
So we've seen them be quite distant over the years. They've always had almost an air gap between them, especially the OT space in terms of staying away from IT. And it's been air gapped to an extent previously anyway. Mm-hmm. How do we see the future of that evolving now with the need for the data and the remoteness of it?
It's basically having that joint understanding and looking at, solutions in the IT space can really help out in the OT space.
Yeah.
We've done it a bit sort of, say the words arse about face, but we really focused on the OT realm when we first started with the cybersecurity side. And a lot of lessons learned and things are coming up through the IT realm, which is normally it's the other way around for businesses.
Yes.
And it's been certainly a value add, but, we fund a lot of their programs, we fund a lot of, what they do, because I'll be brutally honest, in the OT realm, if in our instance, production operations can get hold of the budget, they'll spend on something to enhance production operations, whereas what we focus on is the digital side of things. So, we do fund a lot of, certainly a few of the things that they need to do, whether it's, replacing hardware or the likes of virtualization. Certainly the virtualization side of things becoming, obviously significant in the OT realm.
Yes.
The IT realm have been doing it for years. But certainly, I think you need to have that conversation, and in order to get business insight, it comes from the operational assets. It's already there. Certainly in our instance, we have business insight, we have alarm insight. It's to make their job easier. We need to bring the alarms up so we can actually focus on, bringing down what they alert and alarm to.
Yep.
So they can focus on the stuff that really matters. So, it was a bit of a strange career path moving, taking that team, but it's given me great visibility into that. And I think that, certainly from IT, OT, it's, you can have a joint path forward. Don't fight it. It's that convergence is coming.
Harvest Moon. This is a dark IPA. Dark IPA is first and foremost an IPA with a thread of dark malt for a hint of roastness.
I'm concerned. The last Scots one I had.
Battle axe. That wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Oh.
That's actually not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I've had like 7 other beers before that, but so far I'm pretty happy with that one.
That's actually really nice.
What's your proudest moment in IT? I know we've done the biggest accomplishments kind of thing, and we've talked about your inspiration, but what's the best moment in IT for you? What was that pinnacle you were like, holy, I just nailed this?
I come back to the Todd story. I mean, it's the most recent story, but just delivering on that digital transformation.
Yes.
So, and it's gone. I suppose the good thing is it's sustained beyond. So we've swapped out a vice president left us not so long ago, and a new vice president came in, now CEO, and they picked up that journey, which is great from a business perspective.
Yep.
And they see the value in the digital side of things. We're not a born digital business, and it's a really tough proposition to promote digital in a non-digital business. We get natural gas out the ground. That is our core business.
Yes.
And digital's not. So them understanding that value proposition, seeing what's being done, and providing continuum to that. That's really key. So that really adds that value piece. And I think that's the proudest moment.
Number 9. Okay, so 8 down, 2 to go. This is around the world. Just enough punch to give an outer world experience.
It's got nothing to do with May the 4th be with you, is it?
No. Oh. Nice slide in there.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Fruity.
It is fruity. A keen motorbiker.
Yep.
Best bike you've owned. And why?
This is a weird one. I would have said my latest bike because it allows,
Tiger?
the Triumph Tiger.
Yep.
It allows me to get from A to B and also C. It's overkill.
Yes.
6Ks commute on a Tiger. It's probably, 3Ks. It's a round trip. But best bike would have to be my first bike because it got me into biking.
Okay.
And it wasn't what you think. You know, in South Africa, when you turn 16, it was sort of rite of passage to get on the 50cc.
Yes.
My parents weren't keen. My dad had ridden bikes and the likes, and he wasn't keen on me getting a bike. So then I ended up getting a scooter. Ooh, my best bike.
Wow. Was it like a PGA, like amazing?
Yamaha Pasola 50cc.
I can't even imagine what that is.
It was yellow as well.
It'll be coming right up on the screen for everyone to see right now. So
but my best bike, because it got me into biking. Biking gives you independence.
Yes.
Freedom.
Yep.
And, you know, it's sort of, you know, certainly at 16 years of age, you know, you can just, you know, do your own thing. And that bike gave me that. I feel sorry for that bike though. Well, I gave it a hell of a lot of stick. I took it to the quarry. I jumped it. I remember Ben having to get home like this on the bike because I bent the back wheel. But it was, you know, it started the journey. And I saw, you know, like everything, you know, everybody's got their memories and the latest and the greatest, the best thing. But no, that 50cc was the best thing.
We are on the last bear. This is Urba Nort. It is Palomar Chili Lager. So we've gone light with the lager. It's only a 5%. However, I am advised that the more you drink of this, the hotter it gets. So
we start on a lager and end on a lager.
We start on a lager, we end on a lager. Cheers.
It's been a bit of a journey.
It has.
Journey through beers.
Yep. 9 up, 10 down now.
Yep.
So, what's the future? I mean, that's the key thing. What's the future for you? What's the future for Todd? You know, what direction are you moving in now?
I suppose, interesting question. The future for me, you know, you never know in this game. It's you know, I think digital skill sets and you know, certainly the level I'm at are in short supply.
Yep.
So the future is bright. You know, in this game, you can be young, you can be old, and still, you know, and add significant value to businesses. I think, you know, certainly the knowledge, skills, and experiences that I can add to business are, you know, second to none from a digital perspective. I think if we get down to the nitty gritty, I suppose what I'm really excited about is Microsoft coming to New Zealand.
Oh, yes.
I think that's a bit of a game changer. It brings cloud effectively to New Zealand. I think that's one thing we've been missing. I think also application containerization. I think that's a key thing that is coming as well. I think that's going to add significant value. And also, you know, businesses selecting cloud-hosted solution, moving to, it's quite an interesting transition. We've gone from, you know, some businesses are cloud native. I think we're going to have this hybrid cloud mix. So, you know, it's basically carving the path out, you know, what should remain on-prem or in a hybrid environment and what should remain in cloud. So we've been really lucky. We've made some really prudent investment in hyperconverged infrastructure that sort of postures us to the edge.
Yep.
You can see to one side or the other side, but I still see, you know, us maintaining some degree of balance there with certainly the size of the files and the data and sort of things we use. I think that's the future for us, but yeah, there's so much that's exciting in this space.
Thank you very much to James Blair for joining us today. I have learned a heck of a lot and I hope you have too. We'll be back with more Digital Fusion in the future.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James.